Fantastic.
Hey, Jim Toscano here, and welcome to the Monday night live stream, Filling in the Grooves. I have a special guest with me tonight. It's a secret, not telling anybody yet. Stop it. So I just wanted to mention a few companies: ProLogic's practice pads, offset pedals, Sabian cymbals. Oh my God, the best cymbals on the planet. And Black Magic Designs for these wonderful switchers that I've been using and talking about all the time. And my book, Filling in the Grooves. And if you get a moment, check out my link tree. All of my links are there for all my social media. You can follow me. There's a little QR code right in the corner next to my head. If you get that with your phone, it'll take you right there. And also my mailing list. Sign up for my mailing list. You'll find out about all the upcoming live streams. And there's also a QR code right there. So point your phone at that little gizmo. And then also my Kitco page. There's a little link inside of the link tree. And check that out. It's like all the gear that everybody's using to live stream and do all of this fun stuff that we're doing online for online lessons and helping your students do better. And on that note, I have a special guest tonight. And we've done this before. We're doing it again. And here we go. Let me bring him in. And our special guest is Sanford Moeller. Oh my God. It's the Sanford Moeller. The ghost of Sanford is back. Woo! That's such a great picture. And you know, Dom, I will show that to my students, that picture, and I'm like, who's this guy in the funny hat? But now they all kind of know my tricks and they know who it is. But it's such a great, you know, historical picture that kind of, I think, epitomizes what it was all about at that time, right? Very, very early on. By the way, if anybody doesn't know, Dom Famularo in the house.
Thanks, Jim. Great to be back as always, man. What you're doing is fantastic with this. You're reaching people. My gosh, you've had Garibaldi, Stanton Moore, Joe Bergamini. You've got David. You've got Stanek. You've got so many great people that you are bringing in through this area, and you're really kind of opening up a lot of doors for a lot of people.
It's really fun. Upcoming, we have Daniel Glass coming on soon. I have Peter Retzlaff coming on soon. I have Dave Stanok coming on. Jim Mola, a lot of our good friends are coming on the live stream. Jim Riley has committed. Rich Redmond has committed. Ryan Brown from Dweezil Zappa's band is committed. So we have a lot of guys coming up. And I think we're just trying to capture what everybody's up to, capture everybody's energy, and kind of find out what makes everybody tick. And you've been doing an amazing job with that for years now with the sessions panel and everything that you've done with being basically the global MC of every drumming event on the planet. And, man, you've done it all. And I don't know how you do it, but, you know, tell me something about how it is, how that feels to just come in contact with all these different levels of greatness throughout the years and that you still capture that energy with these guys.
Jim, thanks. It really has been amazing, and I have to always stop and reevaluate and try and figure out, you know, all the different things that I'm doing. I mean, even the interviews that I'm doing, as you mentioned, the Sessions panel, I just did several more of them. They're being edited down, and anyone that goes to the YouTube channel, the Sessions panel, and subscribes, you'll be informed when a new one is uploaded. And it's all different musicians from all instruments, drummers, guitar players, bass players. I mean, drummers like Steve Gadd, Vinny Colaiuta, Steve Jordan, Billy Cobham. I mean, just these great, great drummers. Then guitar players like Steve Vai, bass players like Leland Sklar and Nathan East and all these, you know, Billy Sheehan. And then, you know, these great keyboard players. I was fortunate to be able to interview Chick Corea. And that interview is more poignant now that we have lost him earlier this year. And just Chick's wisdom in the way he spoke and the way he just kind of saw things was just so deep. So I ask everyone, go to the Sessions panel and just tap into these interviews and just listen to them and take in the inspiration from these great, great successful musicians. I'm also doing interviews from Apex on Mondays at 2 o'clock. Every Monday live, I do interviews from Apex Drums. On Tuesdays at 2 o'clock, I do interviews for the Vader Drumstick Company, which has been fantastic. All the different and on one of the Vader interviews, I interviewed Sheryl Crow.
Oh, that's wild.
And her drummer, Fred Elchington, who was a phenomenal drummer.
Great
and they both
drummer.
were together, and it was just incredible to have that. Then on Thursdays, twice a month, I interview different drummers for the Sabian Education Network that Joe Bergamini organizes, and I do that with these interviews. So between all the Sessions panel and all these interviews, man, this is intense.
It's never ending. Well, I will say that, you know, I don't know how you keep the energy up to do all these interviews. I know that when I do my 1 hour on Monday nights, I'm exhausted afterwards. Just, you know, you want to keep that level of energy. I get very excited about it, but it's not like I'm tired afterwards. I get this sort of warm, fuzzy feeling when I'm done, and I go get some hot cocoa, and I go upstairs and see the girls, and it's just like a very satisfying feeling talking with all of you guys, and also, if I'm doing one of the playing ones, that's another level of intensity, right? So I'm glad we're able to do this, and maybe in a future live stream, since you and I have been putting these together, we'll do a playing topic that we can both discuss and hit the drums a little bit, which would be really fun.
We'll do it from the kid, absolutely. And I mean, there's so much to share, and I think the key thing with myself is that I realize that there's a lot that I want to share, and there's a lot that I want to deliver to continue to inspire people to enjoy the art form that we are involved in. It has given me great joy. I started playing drums professionally at the age of 12 with my family band, and it was just so great. I started making money and realizing that, my gosh, I can go out and play drums and make $40 a night playing drums, making people happy, playing tunes that they know. And that was great. And then, being a professional, it's been 55 years. So I'm 67 now, and I mean, I've done nothing else but play the drums. I started teaching at 17, so I celebrate 50 years of teaching. And this has been incredible that I am busier than ever. I am teaching on my monitor, on my Zoom, with my cameras here in my studio. It's so exciting. And I mean, just to be able to have these master classes. I did a master class this past Sunday with Billy Cobham, Dennis Chambers, and Gary Husband.
I saw that. It's
We're
amazing.
doing one a month. So I ask everyone, go to Stages Music Arts. Stages is plural. Music is singular. Arts is plural. StagesMusicArts.com. Click on Billy Cobham, and it'll tell you the classes. We're doing one a month. We're doing 9 till the end of the year.
Oh, wow.
And I have known Billy for over 50 years. Billy is just an absolute legend and such a deep educator in his own right. And I said, Billy, it would be great if we had some information that we can pass on from what you're doing, from what I'm doing, and what happens. So we put our heads together, and we bring in several guests. And we had Dennis Chambers, Gary Husband, and we're going to have Will Calhoun join us.
Oh, that's great.
And it's 3 hours. It's intense. And with every session, you download one of Billy's songs that's got no drums on it.
Oh, wow.
And you record it, and you play it, and you upload that, and then we review that with you there in the lesson. So we were able to hear all these different drummers playing to Stratus, Cobham's song Stratus. They played it, and the arrangement was Stratus big band style.
Oh, my God, that's so
We
great.
had like horns on there and saxes and trombones, and it was incredible. And it just happened to happen that Gary Husband happened to play piano on that track. Gary Husband is another monster player. Phenomenal keyboard player. Started out as a piano player, then got involved with drums. He'll blow you away on keyboard and then blow you away on drums with his drumming playing. This guy is just absolutely brilliant, and he's joining us. So the Cobham
Amazing.
events are exciting. So there's a lot going on, and I just want everyone to kind of hop on and take advantage of it and enjoy the ride.
And that was Stages
Stages Music Arts.
Music Arts. Got it.
And anyone that has any students or people that want to get involved with this, I highly recommend them to be involved. We're going to do 9 of them. We did our first one this past Sunday. We'll do the next one on, I think it's May 25th. And we're going to keep on doing these, and more people are joining in, and it's exciting. And listen, to be able to have your playing analyzed by Billy Cobham and Dennis Chambers and Gary Husband and
Unbelievable.
Will Calhoun, as you're hearing with other people listening, it's intense, but it really is uplifting at many levels.
I have to say, Gary Husband, just to pause on him for a moment, I heard his drumming on an Alan Holdsworth record,
Yeah.
which was Avictron, I believe. And also, I think he's on the same record with Vinny that has Spokes on it, and I'm trying to remember the name of that record.
Yeah.
But, man, so I heard Gary's playing on that, and I was like, oh, man, this guy's phenomenal. And if you look up Gary Husband and just look up Gary Husband drum solo, there's a great solo from an Alan Holdsworth show, an old Alan Holdsworth show. And then I'm at the Blue Note watching Billy Cobham playing, and Gary Husband's on keyboards. And I was like, man, this guy's a monster doing it all. It's just incredible. What a talented guy.
He really is. And he's just a great guy. He lives in England, and at some point it would be great to have him on the show here and just talk to him and play some of his videos. What we do is we had during the class that we did for this 3 hours, we played a little 3-minute video that Gary had put together of his playing piano and drums. Then we put together a 3-minute video of Dennis Chambers playing, and of course at the very ending of this class, we play Billy's version of Stratus of Billy playing it, and he's playing the same arrangement that they had played.
Oh
So
my
after
God.
everyone plays it, then they hear how Billy played it. It just is idea opening, and it just
Oh,
it's like,
God.
man, it's just so great. And we had in that class on Sunday, which was from 12 to 3 Eastern Standard Time. That class Sunday, we had students from 8 countries.
Oh, my God.
It's incredible.
Oh, that's incredible.
So there's a tremendous potential of other drummers meeting other drummers and kind of developing more ideas to share.
What a way to connect people. That's unbelievable. I want to just hit the chat window real quick and just make sure that, first of all, that it's actually working. And also, and I'll read you some questions, and that way we don't forget about everybody, and we'll pop into the chat once again in a little while. But let's just go from the top. Don O'Keefe is in the house. Don O'Keefe is a great guy. I've been helping him with his tech stuff. You know Don O'Keefe. So Don O'Keefe is in the house. He's got a new Mac that he's going to be looking to set up. So welcome, Don O'Keefe. Bob Sears in the house, of course, our good buddy Dom.
Yes.
Bob said that someone's had a lot of coffee. I guess he's referring to me, which, by the way, hot cocoa tonight. But yeah.
This hot cocoa in the evening. You know, I gave up coffee. My gosh, it's probably 25 years ago. I gave up coffee, and I love coffee. I gave it up because I felt it was just kind of like the caffeine, the input. Listen, I don't need any more energy that's coming from anything that I'm eating or drinking.
That is the truth.
I wake up in the morning, you know, screaming and yelling, "Good morning, come on, this is another day." And my wife just slaps me and just.
Well, of course, you know, they can't handle our level of intensity. Stephen Chamberlain's in the house. Stephen and I are working together this coming Saturday with Daniel Bedard in the Montreal Drum Intensive.
Oh, that's great.
That's coming up Saturday morning, Eastern Time. So I believe it's starting at 11 o'clock in the morning. So we'll all be doing our part.
Everybody should go and do that. Everyone that's listening, go there and do that. I've done that with Steph and Daniel before, actually in person in Montreal. And the fact that you're doing a gym with them is so great. Steph is a phenomenal player. He's a very, very dedicated artist at what he does from Quebec City. Daniel Bedard is from Montreal, another phenomenal player, also a southpaw.
Yep.
Like you are, Jim. So now you got 2 southpaws in that class. So it's.
I knew his kit looked backwards.
There'll be a lot of great learning in that class for sure.
Catherine Bray is in the house. Hey, Catherine, good to see you.
Wow. Catherine is another phenomenal young talent. Catherine, listen, I'm so impressed with her because not only is she able to figure out drum parts, I asked her to transcribe some stuff for me, and she did it in like seconds. Very, very intelligent girl. She's from Australia and from Canberra, the capital, and she's now living in D.C., and she's studying with myself, and we're working on it. And Catherine joined us on the Billy Cobham event that happened this past Sunday. She was there. She is into learning. I have such respect for anyone that has that level of desire of being a constant student. Catherine, thank you so much. I call her KB.
KB, yeah, that's great. I worked on a little bit of tech with Catherine. I think the connection was you, I believe. Lucia Seminara in the house saying good evening to Bob and Stefan and Dom. So we have Lucia with us. She's always in my Thursday.
Thanks for joining us. Fantastic.
Yeah, she's always in the Thursday night live stream along with Bob and doing the hand technique workshop stuff. Let's see who else is going on. Do we have any questions? We have Don O'Keefe said, "Can we get any more volume from Dom's feed? More volume."
Man, more volume. You want more volume?
He has more volume.
How is that? A little better?
Oh yeah, there you go. Beautiful.
All right, is that better, Don? Thank you so much, Don.
Thanks for that.
Sometimes I speak so loud, so I have to start to bring back my my volume a little bit more. Each time I do a Zoom call, it's a different setting. What I'm sending out to them, microphone-wise, and what I'm hearing, it's a bit of an adjustment. So it's kind of interesting.
Yeah. From person to person, it definitely is a thing. And
Don's another guy. Don, I believe, is in Connecticut, right?
Don's in Connecticut. That is correct.
Don's another phenomenal, player and educator, and attends these seminars. And as I said, all these guys, man, check out the Billy Cobham event that we're doing once a month. This is serious, man. It's really, really been great.
Let's see. We got Lawrence Rizzo in the house. Larry, what's up?
Larry, fantastic. Great to hear your voice.
Last time he was in here, he went, he called me Lawrence. But it's because I'm Larry, and it's because I'm reading down, and I'm not sure who anybody is until I read the name. But welcome, Larry. Good. Karen Fetter in the house. What's happening,
fantastic.
Karen? Awesome to see you. The last time I saw Karen, we did a clinic at Sam Ash for the Drum Summit.
Yes.
And we were at Sam Ash in I forget which part of New Jersey, but we did
That
one
was in
there.
Jersey, yeah.
Yeah. So
And that
Karen's
was an idea. That drum summit was with the great Pete Greco, who's a phenomenal drummer from Long Island.
Yep.
And Lou Gervey, rest his soul. Lou was a wonderful drumming soul and energy here on Long Island. That was just had his own shop for many, many years, then worked at Sam Ash for many, many years. And Lou was such a great, great person. In the last 3 or 4 years of his life, he continued studying with me right up till the end, man. He had cancer, and Lou came here for a lesson, and we worked on his hands and stuff like that. And then within a couple days, he was then put down in bed, and then went to hospice. And I went to visit him in hospice. He was at a hospital near me, and just a great guy. Just a great guy, and another drumming soul that was just unfortunately we miss him.
Yeah, he was a sweetheart, and luckily I was able to be on 2 of those clinics along with him, so I feel really fortunate to have known him. Al Hennebarn in the house. What's up, Al?
Al Henneborn was there with Cobham also this past Sunday.
Nice.
And Al is setting up his studio, which, Jim, I connected him with yourself.
Yep.
Al's getting that together. Al is another phenomenal player and student, and plays around locally throughout Long Island. And he's now taking lessons with Garibaldi.
Awesome.
I had contacted Garibaldi. I said, David, I want you to start teaching during this pandemic. Garibaldi said, okay. I told Al go by there, and Garibaldi works with all the students to get them to create and think more and write ideas and try to find their own sound and their own ideas, and Al's doing great with that.
Look at this. Real quick, I was telling you the last time we spoke that when I was younger, I would take Modern Drummer and I would photocopy all of the written passages and put them into a binder. And this one right here is the Rock and Jazz Clinic with David Garibaldi.
Oh, man.
What is this one called? Understanding beat permutations. So that's a Garibaldi entry from my MD.
David,
you can see the little MD on the thing.
Yeah,
that was my
David,
Modern Drummer. So I would go through everything that had notation. I would go to the pharmacy, which had a copy machine for a nickel. You could photocopy pages. And I would just put nickels in and photocopy everything out of Modern Drummer, take it home, put it in my binder, and then sit there and play it on the drums. So it's great. David Clive in the house.
Who's that?
David Clive is in the house.
Oh, David, another phenomenal player, man. This is so great to have everybody join us. This is just so incredible to have this level of support and interest. You guys are all great, man. It's just so great. Boy, any questions you guys have, bring them on and fill us in.
Absolutely. Dave Clive, by the way, who's a really good friend of mine. I saw him recently, had dinner with Dave Clive, and he's got his Gretsch museum. He's a Gretsch collector, and he has this beautiful collection of Gretsch drums, and Dave and I go way, way back. Karen also said that we need to get more clinics going. Absolutely. Springfield and Edison, Karen was at 2 of my clinics that were in the last couple of years. At both the Springfield and Edison location, myself and Stephen Chamberlain did some Sam Ash clinics, so it was nice having Karen there with us. And she put some hearts up for Lou.
Yeah, she's another dedicated student of what she does, and she plays many other instruments other than just drums. She's really very, very talented.
She sings, she plays guitar, she writes songs, and she's an educator. And, yeah, so great having Karen here. Christopher Simpson's in the house. He's saying, "What's good, my friends?" Thanks for joining us, Christopher. So if you guys have any questions, definitely we'll field the questions shortly. Dom and I are going to get back to a little conversation, and then I'll check back in with the chat shortly. By the way, you won't be able to see this, but I'm going to overlay a photograph, and I'll tell you what it is in just a moment. So I have 3 photographs. I wanted to ask you, I stuck it right over my face, Modern Drummer, and this is December 2015. Who's on the cover? Dom Famularo holding his globe. And so that photo that I'm showing to our listeners, you're on the cover. I think that was the first cover that I've seen you on for Modern Drummer. Is that correct?
It was. That was my first cover, and it was. I was honored to be on that. They had contacted me, and they wanted to have me on the cover. And I said, listen, if I do the cover photo, I want to hold a globe in my hand. So we tracked down a globe and did it, and they had a photographer come to my studio here and shoot me here. And what was great about it is that we, I said, listen, I don't want this to be just about me. I'll tell my story, but I want this to be about teachers. So I was able to list hundreds of teachers on the Modern Drummer website that could go on there and have their information there. So it was really kind of a wonderful promotion for all teachers and educators.
Absolutely. And I was really honored to make the list. And that was really incredible. And I got so excited when you were on the cover. I just felt like, I'd known you for so long, and it's so well deserved. And I love the quote is Dom wants to teach the world the drums, which is so great. Let me put that back up. Dom Famularo wants to teach the world to drum, and could very well do it, which is such a great cover. And it makes me think about, with this whole world thing, there's a story, and I wonder if you could kind of indulge me and everybody, that you were doing, I think it was the first time, and you were, I think, the first person to do this, to go to China to do a drum clinic. And you were on the train, and I don't know if I brought this up last time, but you were on the train with who was going to be the interpreter for the clinic, right? Because he was going to interpret everything that you were saying. And as I remember, and you could tell the story, is that it wasn't about what you were saying, but how you were saying it, that you were trying to bestow upon this interpreter.
This was so much fun. First of all, at that time, it was October of 1993. And the only reason why I remember that exact time is I've got a picture of me holding a symbol that I signed, and I signed that symbol October of 1993, and I've got that picture here in my studio. October of 1993, and Bob Zildjian, the great mastermind behind Sabian Cymbals, and Dave McAllister, who at the time was vice president of Sabian, they had the idea of going to China, and they wanted me to go in there and do it and start to teach. China at the time was a very closed country. You got to go back to 1993. This was like really, not the China that we know now, which is very sophisticated and built up. China, their infrastructure was terrible at that time. So the train system we flew into Hong Kong. I did an event in Hong Kong, and then took a 3.5-hour train ride from Hong Kong to Guangzhou, which is in the southern part of China. And the train ride itself was like terrible. It was literally, Jim, it was like this here. You got on the train, they started going. When they got up to speed, all of a sudden you were riding like this here.
Oh my God.
This was the ride. You couldn't sit still. It was like you were holding on. It was this insane ride for 3.5 hours. So I'm trying to hang on. Bob Zildjian's next to me, and we're laughing hysterically. So I turned to my translator, my interpreter, and I said, well, listen, we're going to get there. I said, I want to make sure that how we translate, that that you're able to translate what I'm saying. So I said, so let's practice now. Meanwhile, we're on this, we're bouncing like tennis balls in a room. It's incredible. So I turned to him, and I said, I'm going to say something like, the most important thing in music is expression. And I say it like that. I said, let me hear what it sounds like. So he goes, so I said, what was that? He goes, that's what you just said. I said, no, that's not what I just said. You got to get into it so they can feel the most important thing is expression. That's everything. I want hand gestures. I want you to accent waves. I want dynamics in your voice. I don't want a monotone. I said, try it again. He did it again, a little bit better. I rehearsed this guy for 3 hours on this train ride until I finally had him standing on the chair, holding his hands out, screaming in Chinese, the most important thing is expression. When he finally said it, I said, now you got it.
Oh my
Have
God.
his feet. And it was that kind of a training process to get him to kind of realize that I wanted to bring this. Listen, they asked me when I got to China, you cannot say the freedom of expression. They told me, you can't say that. They can't say that. If you say the freedom of expression, we're going to literally pull you off stage and bring you to the airport and fly you back home.
Oh my God.
You're done. They told me. The military told me. So I couldn't say the freedom of expression, but I could say expression.
Okay.
So the most important thing was expression. What we say now is the most important thing is the freedom of expression, to be freely express what you want to do. We couldn't say that then, or you probably still can't say it now. So you have to be very careful with respecting the countries that you're going to. So when we went there, it was a challenge to be able to have to think and say and speak and fire them up. And I was the first one to go there to start to spark people to begin to develop schools, drumming schools and music schools, to create that opportunity for young people. The Chinese government loved it. They loved what I did on that tour. They invited me back every year for several years after that to hit more places. I mean, we traveled to all areas of China, and China is a huge country. We did it all, and each different city was different food and different, from Szechuan food to Cantonese food, all that was different. The language is different. It was extremely exciting, and I mean, I ate things that I would never have thought that I ate before, and just incredible. But it worked out because now, years later, about 12 years ago, I met Mr. Lee. Mr. Lee was a very sharp businessman, did not speak any English, but I spoke to him through a translator as far as the idea of being able to develop schools. Right. Well, he put together a school called 9 Beats, and 9 Beats School is the biggest drum school in the world. They now have 450 locations in 350 cities.
Oh, my God.
Over 7,000 teachers, over 600,000 students.
And their model is several kids in a class on drum sets playing at the same time, right?
Correct. And they do private lessons. But one of my ideas to him was, I said, I think one of the ideas that I think I could foresee, because as I went through China, I started to get a feel for how they learn. And they like to learn in groups. So I said, my sister is a dance instructor. And when you go to a dance school, everyone's together. And when you go to a dance school, you can go there and everyone's learning together, and you learn. And you learn in the dance school. You go there in September, and you work on the song or the songs that you're going to perform in the following May at the recital. So you're not really learning how to dance as far as learning all the skills and types of dance. You're just learning how to dance for that song or those 2 songs that you're going to dance in May. Then you play the recital, you perform, you do your 2 dance tunes, and then you're off for the summer, and you start again in September learning a couple more songs for the recital the next year. Right. I said, I kind of like that idea, but I also like, in America, in the karate schools, in martial arts, when you pay for a lesson and you're in class number 1, when you pay for class number 1 and your class is on a Monday, once you pay for class number 1, you can go and attend any other class number 1 during the week. So if you want to go 3 or 4 times that week and still go to take class number 1 again, they welcome you. Huh. So I said, what I liked about that is you could go and constantly work on lesson number 1 a few times a week to kind of enhance your skills. So when I mentioned this to Mr. Lee, I said combining those 2 concepts would be great. So that's what they do.
Oh my
they
God.
have anywhere from 10 to 15 kids in a class, 10 to 15 drum sets in a class, big blackboard up front, a writing area, and you go there, and once you pay for lesson number 1, you can go back as often as you want per week to continue taking class number 1 to heighten your skills, and they teach you in September. You learn to play along to a couple of songs, and then come May, you do a recital where you come out and you play. So he brought me back to perform a tour of just the recitals for 9 Beats. So I went from city to city playing the recitals, hearing all of these kids play. There were hundreds of kids performing in each city.
Wow.
They had about 25 drum sets on stage, thousands of people in the audience. They would come out and perform. Then I would come out and I would perform and do my thing. Then I would bring all of them up together, and we'd play something together. This was out of control. So I did this here to thousands of people in the audience with hundreds of people on stage. This is totally insane.
It's like drum festival level, like recital.
It was a recital with thousands of people in the audience. And, of course, then they'd want to ask me questions. So they'd ask me questions, of course, in Chinese, through my translator. I'd answer the question, always trying to motivate the students and the parents. I always thank the parents for supporting their kids in music. Thank you very much. We did a group picture, and that was the end. Then I signed every autograph to not only every student, but everyone in the crowd wanted an autograph.
Oh, my God. You're so generous with your time and the contact with people. It's really, really incredible.
Listen, I learned that from guys like Louis Bellson and Max Roach.
Right.
These guys were just saints of how they gave their time to people and would stop and talk to people. And that to me meant so much. When I had a chance to talk to Louis Bellson and he stopped and talked to me and really was interested in what I was saying. When I had a conversation with Max Roach, he really was interested in what I was saying. And these guys, Papa Joe Jones, Philly Joe Jones, they stopped and listened, and that was so powerful. And I remember that clearly. So I do that only for the fact that that child or that person I'm talking to, they probably will remember that, and that would be a fantastic thing to do.
Absolutely. I mean, I do a recital with my students every year, which I call the the drum student roundup, and I have a band. I pay a band to come out and play cover tunes, and I have all the kids go up and sit in with the band, which is a great experience. But on that level, they're playing like to a festival-sized crowd. That's pretty amazing to prepare them for maybe what the business could be for them, right?
Yeah, totally, totally. It's intense because performing with the kids, and again, I'm sitting there hearing all of them play their songs.
Yeah.
25 kids playing one tune, and it's like synchronized swimming. They're all moving the same way. They're all hitting the same crash. They're all moving in the exact same way. So you're seeing 25 people move all in the same way through that song. It really is absolutely incredible. And then, I'd give a bit of a motivational talk to everybody, and it was just so great to see. It's just so exciting. I did a festival in China with in a town called Shenzhen with Dave Weckl. We had 3,500 people in an arena.
Wow.
Myself and Dave, and it was intense. And and what I do before every event, I go out before I go on stage and I shake everyone's hand. I don't care if there's 200 people or if there's 3,500 people.
Yeah.
I went out and shook everyone's hand. Somebody was with me to help me go, shook everyone's hand. Who's not taking pictures? And so when I finished shaking everyone's hand, it was then time for me to go on stage. What I do that for is because now I've met the audience close up. So when I go on stage, they just had me right in front of them. Now they have me on stage. Already I've got a relationship with everyone in that room. 3,500 people are on my side. What a way to win over a crowd. It really is fantastic. It's not easy, but
yeah. But that must really mean something to them, having that contact in the beginning, because now they feel that it's almost a little piece of knowing you when you go up on stage. That wall that's usually behind, between the audience and the stage is gone. Right, so that's pretty incredible.
And of course, I ask everyone to move up, so I get everyone to move up close to the stage, and it's just kind of I break every possible fire hazard you can possibly imagine, and there it is.
Oh, that's great. By the way, Christopher Simpson said, "Here's my question: I'm getting ready to have drums made. Do you think beach and waterfall bubinga is a good combination?" I don't know. That sounds
beechwood and waterfall bubinga. Well, I know the bubinga wood that I remember Tama Drums had made bubinga drums. I'm not sure if they still do. And that was a great sounding kit.
Yeah.
And I've heard beech by itself, and that was a great sounding kit. I got to tell you something. All the woods to me blow me away. Beech, whether it's birch or maple. This kit that I have behind me now is a Saturn Evolution kit. This is this kit here is all birch.
Right.
And this kit just sounds so fantastic in what it is. And you can see it. I have here. This is it's just a great sounding kit. I'm not sure if I can.
Yeah.
The kit just sounds absolutely wonderful. And you can see the 7-page chart I'm practicing here too. But
and we're going to talk about that in a minute. By the way, birch. There's birch bubinga kits that I've known from Tama. But not beech mixed with bubinga. But listen, here's the thing: if you're buying the drums without hearing them, try to go on to YouTube and just watch some videos from either Forks. Some of the drum shops will do demos of drum kits, and then you get to really hear some of those guys just put one microphone and they just hit the drums, and you get to hear kind of what they sound like. Because I know in this day and age, it's hard to go out to a showroom and check out a drum kit, but do your research that way if you can, and also ask guys what they're playing, guys that you like the way their drums sound, and find out what those are before you make the investment. But it sounds like you've already you're getting ready to have them made, so if you've done your research, I'm sure they're going to sound great. That sounds like a great combination of woods.
You really can't go wrong. Beech and bubinga will sound fantastic. It'll be a unique sound that will be unique to your sound. And I think that's fantastic. I've got a few kits here. I've got a birch kit and, of course, a maple kit. And and this birch kit is birch walnut maple. So a lot of times what they do is the beech, I'm not sure if it would be sandwiched or how it would be done, but that sounds very interesting. I think it's going to sound fantastic.
I would think it would be beech to the inside and then the bubinga for the finish on the outside. My kit, this one over here, that's a Tama maple kit. And so that's Maple Star Classic. And I have also the same kit in birch, exact same sizes, packed up as my road kit. And then my student kit is the same kit again, same finish, but in birch for the student kit. So birch and maple are great. Beech and bubinga. I'm sure it's going to be a great kit.
I mean, fantastic. It's going to look great, too.
Let's see. Stories. Lucia said, "Hey, Dom, what do you enjoy most about being an educator?"
Boy, Lucia, what a great question. How old are you, Lucia?
Lucia is 12.
12 years old. What an absolutely mature question. Lucia, I have been teaching since the age of 17, and I started teaching when I was playing around town, and a lot of younger people came up and said, boy, Dom, I like what you're doing. Would you mind showing me what you're doing? And that's kind of how it started. And then when I started teaching, I kind of formalized my educational program, and I've been doing it now for 50 years. The absolute joy of teaching is when I share an idea with a student and I see the light bulb go off and they get it, and all of a sudden they sit down on the drum set and they start playing a pattern and they feel the results of that idea. When I plant that idea into their head and they then begin to acquire it and develop it, that means that idea is with them for the rest of their life. So I get to have the opportunity of people in my life that I get a chance to share my past experience and the wisdom that I've gathered. And as I share this, I now become a part of them, and to have a little bit of part of myself in all of these thousands of students that I've taught, probably close to millions of students that I've taught in the course of 50 years, that to me is a reward that I will take to my grave and smile about.
That is a great answer. And I will say that Lucia is a great student of the art form, and she's a contributor to my hand technique workshop, and she wrote, and we did it on Monday night on Thursday night, she wrote a single drag tap collapsed rudiment combination. So single drag taps, and then she collapsed them into diddle in the middles, and then back to, and so it stayed in the eighth note triplet rate in that 4 against 3 thing, and she's 12 years old, and she wrote that. So
oh, this is the future of drumming, and Lucia, this is fantastic because you will be the future of drumming. And just like there are many great female role models, I mean, my gosh, Viola Smith, who we just recently lost, she was about 104 years old. She was a phenomenal inspiration. Cindy Blackman Santana, who's a phenomenal player, and Terry Lynn Carrington, and Annika Niles, and Sheila E. There's so many great female drummers out there that are fantastic. And Janine Fox, who is a wonderful, female drummer that's also involved with Hit Like a Girl contest doing this here. And Janine is a mature woman who always wanted to play drums and finally started doing it. And she has her Oh for Drum's Sake on Instagram channel that she interviews people. And so these female drummers are coming out of everywhere, man, and they are just fantastic.
And Janine's actually had Lucia on as a guest twice.
Wow.
And I told Lucia, I said, for next year, you're going to be prepared for the Hit Like a Girl contest to enter in her age category. So we're working on that for next year. So it's going to be very exciting. And actually, I think come October, Janine and I are going to do a live stream on drumming and breast cancer awareness as a live stream. So that will be coming up in a future live stream. So
that is beautiful. Janine's story has been so inspirational. She is a breast cancer survivor, and she always wanted to play drums. So when she got through it all, she just said, I'm playing drums. She's studying with John Gill up in the Oneonta area, and she's also involved with Bobby Angeletta and all these different drummers that are up in that area up there, and she's just a wonderful inspiration to continue learning and being a real role model for a lot of young girls. It's fantastic.
And actually, John Gill's in here tonight, and he
John
said...
Gill is another phenomenal player and educator. And John and I go back to the 80s at the old Long Island scenario that we had down here at that time. And John is just another dedicated player and teacher and just a great, great guy. And all of his students are just phenomenal as how they develop. So, John, thanks so much.
So John says, hello, Jim and Dom. Greetings from Oneonta. Just finished hitting the tubs and teaching. Going to be a fantastic live stream tonight with you guys. So, John, thanks for hanging out with us. And John's been a guest on my live stream as well. And fantastic. John and I have a mutual friendship with Chet DeBow, from Long Island.
Chet's another phenomenal player. Chet DeBow. If you don't know who Chet DeBow is, go back and research. First of all, his books are absolutely excellent.
Great books.
And Chet, a phenomenal drum set player and drum corps player. He had a group called the Hip Pickles.
Yep.
And absolutely brilliant player, man. Another good guy.
And his nephew, who is one of my very close friends as kids, John DeBow, still does Hip Pickles shows, but pre-pandemic with Chet, and they go into schools and they do all these wonderful performances, and they would also be the openers or halftime guys for like big sporting events. And I always blame Chet for really inspiring me to want to play professionally, because he ran my first gig, which I was maybe 12 years old in a little button-down white shirt playing at a nursing home with his nephews. And we played at a nursing home in, I think, East Moriches. And we played some Billy Joel, and we played the Pink Panther theme and a few other wacky things. And, that was my first paying gig, and I was on a little red Vista Light drum kit. So really fun, really fun. And let me just check. There was one other, getting to the end. Very good, very good. Where are we? Okay. Oh, so, right. Don wanted to know if you have any plans to return to in-person lessons in Port Jeff at any point, or if it's going to kind of stay as an online model.
Boy, great question, Donna. I get that question literally every day. The answer is yes. I will go back to in-person in time. I think I'm going to maintain a large percentage of my students this way on the way it is, and I'll restructure my studio so it's got the ability of being able to have the students come in. And I definitely want to get back to that. Listen, we are, humans that need to have social, interaction with other humans. That's just kind of how we exist. So I want to definitely get back to it. But what I'm really enjoying about these lessons is that I get to see these students on their own kit, in their own home, and they're saving time and traveling to get here. So if we can achieve the same educational transferring of information without the hour or plus of them getting to my studio or the hour or plus of them getting home, if we save a couple hours in transportation, that gives that student the chance to have more time to practice. And if I see them on their own kit, they're more in their comfort zone of how they're playing. I mean, I know when I'm on my kit, and this is, Jimmy, you know my kit. When I'm on my kit and I'm here, I'm home when I'm on my kit. This is like
that's what it's all about.
Yeah, this is like I'm home here, and to have this ability of being able to just, reach at a higher level of being able to play. Just to have that comfort zone that I can sit on my own kit and do what I do. There's a certain, relaxation and a certain security that I have on my own kit. So I want everyone to have that same level on their own kit. So in person or in Zoom, man, we'll make it happen. We're going to keep pushing this art form. Thank you, Don.
That's it. And the beautiful thing, too, is that, when it does go back to more in-person stuff, if it's inclement weather, if it's snowing and people can't get to your place, you can always jump onto a Zoom call in place of that in-person lesson. So now we can kind of have the best of both worlds. And depending on how you feel that day, you could come to the studio or stay at home. Although I will say I miss Lucia coming to the studio with lots of baked goods that her mom makes for me, and just seeing the kids in person is of course really inspiring for me.
Absolutely, and that I miss him. I used to have a student that came in from New Jersey, and he lived, and actually his family owned and lived right next to where they worked, and they owned a bakery, an Italian bakery.
Wow!
So he would bring fresh cannolis, and he'd bring the cannoli in a container, and the shells in a separate container. He wouldn't put the cannoli in there for fear of the shells getting too soft. So in the lessons, while we're doing the lesson, we're stuffing cannolis and eating cannolis. Hell, Don, you going to bring cannolis? I'll open up the studio tomorrow.
Let me hear 3A in advanced technique for the modern drummer while I stuff these cannolis over here. Oh my God. And I meant to mention Vincent LaRusso's in the house, and he said, "Hey Dom, how are you?" And he said
Vinny's the best.
He needs a trip out to your dojo.
Oh, anytime. But Vinny, not only is Vinny a fantastic drummer and a student of the art form, Vinny plays bass, right? Plays bass?
Plays bass. He plays guitar. He made a record recently with where he was writing the songs, producing the songs, playing different instruments. He's got a band that he put together, and he's playing bass.
That's tough, man. He's hogging all the talent, and that's tough because you got to leave some of it for us.
And Vincent also is a singing drummer, which is not easy. So he can sing lead vocals and play drums, which I'm always impressed with.
Well, that's a great skill. When I was younger with my family, my two older brothers and my younger sister, I also sang and we sang 3 and 4 part harmonies. And that was a real good skill to have, to understand intervals and have to hear your part and sing your part and play and keep it going. That was a great, another level of independence.
Yeah.
Boy, Vinny's phenomenal with that way. Boy, I want to make sure I check out his recording, man. That sounds great.
Yeah, his record's really cool. And I have to say, Vincent and I have been doing some of the live streams together. And the first one we did together, we called it Groove Master Series, Episode 1, and we did the drumming of James Gadson. And so I was breaking down some classic Gadson grooves, and Vincent was playing the bass lines from those records. Oh. And so we were playing some Bill Withers tracks and a few different things. And actually, I'm going to have to talk to you. I would want to figure out how to get James Gadson on the show. And I would love to ask James Gadson about his roots in singing, because he is also comes from singing doo-wop when he was younger. And another singing talented drummer. So
I have my interview on the Sessions panel with James Gadson, and we'll talk about that, Jim, how to get James Gadson. James is he's just royalty.
Yeah.
Royalty. That Bill Withers stuff that he has, oh my gosh, he played his groove and just locked into that groove and just created a feeling of just relaxation and drive and pocket.
Yeah.
Pocket.
Unbelievable pocket.
Years.
Oh. And the other thing about him is, everybody always talks about like the 16th note feel thing, but I heard him on a Beck record where he's playing, I'm trying to think of the title of the Beck album, but he's playing these sort of down-tempo tunes where it's really just sort of kick and snare, and then maybe the hi-hat comes in, and it's just so in the pocket and so simple but so well-placed. And it's not about what he was playing on it. It was kind of more about what he wasn't playing. And just he was laying down the most infectious grooves. And then I checked out a Paul McCartney record that he also played on, and he was doing a similar thing. It wasn't all about, the 16th note stuff that he had done with Bill Withers. And, man, just like what a chameleon of a player. And to be still doing those recordings into, I think, a Harry Styles record in 2019.
Yeah, still doing
and just unbelievable. Really, really talented.
That's really what makes players like Gadson and all those pocket players, and even Gad. These guys, it's what sometimes what they're not playing that allows you to kind of like, feel the groove of what's happening. And these guys are just masters at a craft that is just. I'm still striving to achieve, levels of pushing myself to learn. It's just absolutely inspiring.
Yeah, absolutely. And I have to say, Patrick Ross is in the house. Good buddy of mine, Patrick Ross, student of mine. He's also part of my Zoom squad, so he's in the hand technique workshop every Thursday night.
Nice. Patrick, thanks for joining us. Good boy.
Pat Ross is a great guy. He actually gave me his album in vinyl. I brought it upstairs recently. And actually, Larry has a question. He said, in the Hudson Music app, is there a way we can take notes on what we're working on so we can refer to them at a later time? I don't believe that is the case. That is a great suggestion that I would field to Rob Wallace. By the way, the Hudson app is quite an incredible resource. So I do love having all my books in print, but like here's John Favicchia's Elements book. Yeah. I've bought many of these books on the Hudson app, including 2 of the most important and my favorite books, Stick Control, Accents, and Rebounds. So make sure that you're not only getting your books in print, but you get them on the Hudson app. And as far as keeping the notes on the app, I think maybe just do a notebook, which I keep a stack of these around.
Yeah.
I'm always taking notes. And so if you're working in the app, you can write down the book and page number in here and write your notes in a notebook for the moment until we find out if there's any way to do that online. But that is a great suggestion.
Kindle has some programs that you can and some tablets that you can draw on there. So I mean, we gotta do the research. We'll have to ask Rob Wallace, who again, HudsonMusic.com is got every book digitally, and I've got the books, as you said, physically and digitally. Yeah. So I've got all my books here, and I think your version of Access to Rebounds, Jim, is an older version.
I do. I have both, but this is an older one. This is my first one that's pretty old, but I have a newer version that has the updates that you had done in there. So
Look at this one here. This was the book that I used with Morello, Access to Rebounds, and he signed it to me there. He used to call me Fam.
nice.
And this was the book where we used to have to write our arrows in ourselves.
Right.
To kind of figure out where the movement was happening. So this was the old school, the way we did it, and then of course then the new version has the arrows and the codes inside of it as it is. So it's great stuff.
Yeah, really great. John Gill asking if you plan to publish another book. If you're talking about drum books, there's many drum books coming down the pipe from Wisdom. I can answer that on Dom's behalf. But Dom also has a follow-up to the Cycle of Self-Empowerment coming out pretty soon, right?
I do. I'm working on a book called Owning Now. So this book, The Cycle of Self-Empowerment, has been out now for 20 years, and it's just been a great book of just stories and concepts for me in there. And the Owning Now, I'm working on now with my son Dominic. He's a writer, so we're working on that book. But I'm working on I've got The Weaker Side out with Stephen Chamberlain, and we're coming out with a book now called Accenting the Weaker Side with Stefan Chamberlain and Nina Parra. Nina Parra is a phenomenal female drummer in Brazil. She lives in São Paulo. And I'm in communication. She was a student of mine for many, many years, as was Steph. And when I get sometimes ideas for books, I reach out to my students and get them to assist and get them to be a part of it. And they make money on it, and they learn how to be involved in putting a book out. And I've got several other books I'm working on now. Actually, I'm working on a book now with Guy Gelso.
Right. Yes, I've been seeing Guy on a weekly basis.
Phenomenal drummer. He's still with the band Zebra.
Yep.
For the past, I think they're coming in on 45, 46 years of being together.
Yeah.
And that band is phenomenal. Guy lived for a while here on Long Island, and he took lessons with me back in the 80s. And now he's back to taking lessons with me, and we're working on a book that he's working on, which is just absolutely phenomenal. Just another great hand book, the way Guy plays. It's just really smart the way he's doing it.
Yeah, and it's a great concept, and it's a simple concept that has so much room for creativity. Yeah. And so I've been talking to him about it a little bit. Of course, I've been working with Guy on his tech and getting his branding and technology stuff together. So he's another great, phenomenal player, and he will be a guest at some point on the live stream. So eventually he'll be on here too.
Great. And Guy loves what you're doing, Jim. I mean, aside from the fact that you're helping him with the tech side, but you're also helping him with, he's working with Sibelius to work on the book.
Right.
And he's working with you on that, too. So I keep on telling Guy, go contact Jim. There's value in Jim's time, he'll speed the process up and get you to a place much faster than if you try and think you can do it on your own.
Yeah, we were working on the layout, the other day on his book, and I was using, of course, my book, which you're the executive producer on, Filling in the Grooves, which, helping him with sort of laying out these, sort of the way that we lay out the pages. And, it's been really fun working with Guy on that. So
I've got the book here. I work with this all the time with my students. I've got it right here. And with the books, and we go through it all. We go down, certain different, ideas of what's happening. I think the students do a step-by-step process. And, Jim, this really has been an incredible tool for people to really kind of open up ideas about fills and what they can do. It really has been a great product to have. So I tell everybody, filling in the grooves, man, get it, make it happen.
Thanks so much. Yeah, that's it was a really fun project, and that's one of those things that I think it plants seeds again for creativity, and that's kind of what the idea was.
Well, I got a kick out of it. When you were coming in for lessons, I can remember how that started. You came in for lessons, and we'd come in for lessons, and you saw the fact that when you came in for the lessons with my studio, you saw how I was at the time, where I had the TV screen up here, and I was filming it we were burning it onto DVDs.
Yep.
And I'd give you the DVD at the end of the session. You'd bring it back. I had rewritable DVDs, and we were doing it, and you kind of got a kick out of that. Then when you bought your house and you built your studio, you went to that next level of getting everything set up the way you have it right now, which is so great. But you were coming in, and you mentioned you had ideas of how you explain fills to students. And I said, boy, Jim, show me what you got. So the next session you came out and you showed it to me. I said, boy, start rewrite and overwrite, come up with some more ideas. You did, and then that's when we said, listen, there's a book here. Just start working on it, and you did it, man. You put it together and laid the whole thing out, and here it is now, this project that you have put together that you have literally given birth to. And now when I see people working on it all around the world, I'm working with them on it, I get a kick out of the fact that Boy, that idea started, just from Jim just having these ideas, and now here it is, a product that people are using and enhancing people's lives with it. Really fantastic.
It's been fun. Sometimes I'll get DMs on Facebook where somebody from another country, somebody from Japan or somebody from France is holding my book, and they take a picture. So it's been so great to see that. Very cool. Oh, let me see. Oh, Don O'Keefe. Thank you, Don. I don't have to read this, but I'll read it anyway. Don O'Keefe said, at a lesson with Dom, he told me that the best tech money he would ever spend would be with Jim. So thanks for Dom and Jim for coming through as advertised. You got it, man.
Well, Don is just, again, a great player and a great educator where he is. And he's got students, and he's doing it, and he's pushing it forward. And again, to speed the process up, this tech stuff can be overwhelming.
Yeah.
And, I mean, in my studio now, I've got a 50-inch monitor in front of me that I'm looking at you, Jim, here. You're on full screen. I've got a monitor behind me where people can see. I've got Jim up on the big monitor behind me, so when I sit on my drum set, I can watch that monitor. I've got a 4K camera in front of me. I've got 3 cameras on the drum set. I've got, switchers and audio interfaces and high-powered computers here. Man, I feel like I'm at freaking NASA right now. Holy mackerel.
Yeah, and it's been really fun kind of, helping you and building the system up. And, the one thing is you're not afraid of technology, and you're not afraid of embracing it and moving it forward. And you planted the seed for me really back in the day with it was a VHS tape in the beginning with recording the lessons, and then it went to DVD. And then I followed suit because I was like, wait a minute, that's a great idea. I'll make DVDs for my students. And I started with that, and then the multi-camera thing started to happen. So, it's kind of been a fun process I think we did together.
When I first started doing this, it was, because I was traveling around the world doing all these clinics, back starting in the 80s, I had a lot of students that wanted lessons with me from several different countries. I've traveled to over 60 countries. So when they wanted lessons, when Skype first came out, I hopped on it because I said, well, this is video conferencing. This is what I saw back in the mid-60s in Star Trek when they would have, Captain Kirk would look at somebody from a different planet on their screen. I said, man, we're there now. So with Skype, I joined on Skype, and I was one of the first, I think one of the first 500 that signed up on Skype, because at the time they had a number system. Whoever signed up, the numbers came up. And I joined on Skype, and I started doing these lessons, and that's when it was dial-up.
Right.
These people have no idea what that was like with dial-up. You had to take your phone line, before cell phones. You took your phone line, you plug out of your freaking phone, and you had to put it into a separate modem. Modems were not in the computer. It was a separate device you had to plug into. The phone line into the modem into the computer, and then when you dialed the number up, you heard that's how it connected with every lesson. Then it connected, and you came on. Of course, it was blurry. It was breaking up. The sound was in, but it worked. I was able to reach people from around the world, and it worked. So as I kept on doing this, someone from Skype, one of the Skype managers, emailed me one day on Skype. They sent me a message that said, Mr. Famularo, what exactly are you doing? I went back and said, well, I'm teaching drum lessons. And they were blown away that I was doing these lessons. They said, wow, that's really a new thing. I said, well, it's working. And they asked me, how can we improve it? And that's when I gave them a list of things of, we need better internet connection. We have to have a better, the modem should be more powerful. We have to have accessibility to be able to have sound, that we can have a much better sound. I went down that, and then they started improving it. And then Zoom came out and really took it to the next level. And here we are now in the 21st century. And remember, we have now entered the 3rd decade of the 21st century.
Right.
We're not just in the 21st century. We have entered the 3rd decade. The stuff is changing. Listen, I just ordered a freaking Tesla.
Oh my God!
When I wanted to have an all-electric car, and we tried several electric cars, and they all were great. But until I just said, let me just try it. I sat in this Tesla. Listen, put wheels on your computer. You don't hear anything. It's completely quiet. All that's in the car. There's no gauges, just a screen.
Yeah.
And there's no transmission, so there's no transmission fluid. There's no oil. None of that stuff is around. It literally is a car that is your computer on wheels, and it is totally quiet. And you drive, and the machine, how smooth and how safe it is, and this cameras on every angle above you. So when you're driving, you see everything around you. So the safety, and so I believe that that's now, again, 21st century, third decade of the 21st century. I feel everyone should be driving electric cars, and it's the investment of what you make into the car. You know, we lease it for 3 years, because after 3 years we trade it in and get another one, and I'm able to write that off on my taxes, so it works out well to lease cars as opposed to own it. And because the technology changes every 3 years, you get an upgrade.
Yeah,
it's amazing to have it, and it really is best for the environment. And they get like 260 miles on a charge.
yeah.
I can go back and forth to New York 3 times.
It's incredible.
With one charge. And every night when I come home, I plug it into the electric. I charge the car up fully. It's ready to go 260 miles. So it really is an incredible concept of how we have to think about technology, not only in our teaching technology, with our lives, but also how we drive.
Unbelievable. By the way, a few more. Jules Rodino's in here.
Jules, another great player. Blue Oyster Cult. He is out slamming it. Jules came to me many years ago as a student. He plays just absolutely fantastic. He drives Blue Oyster Cult, off the charts, man. He's just a phenomenal player, man. Really is.
I feel fortunate. I got to play one of these Sam Ash clinics with Jules in the same night. It was Peter Greco, myself, Jules Rodino, a few other guys, and I can't remember who else was on the bill, but definitely that's when I met Jules, I think. And then we've kind of kept in touch over the years and bump into each other at NAM and PASIC and whatever else. So Jules is a great guy. You got to be on the show, Jules. Keep that in mind.
Get him in there, absolutely.
Peter Bartone, hey, Dom. When's the new pad stick coming? We're all waiting for the new pad stick.
Funny that you mentioned that. Check this out. I just got the prototype yesterday. It came in the mail.
All right.
Here it is. You guys are the first to see Dom's pad stick here.
From Vader. Beautiful.
From Vader. And this is what's amazing. This is, to me, the best line yet, because Alan, who is still the only, person that's manufacturing his own stick. It's not a corporation. It's just Alan making the stick. And he uses sugar maple. Sugar maple is a different. You see the beautiful wood. Sugar maple is stronger but lighter and more flexible. It's absolutely amazing how he found this wood, and he's making the stick. So they're making them right now. They should be delivered any day now, and I'll put that on my website. I'll put a mailing out, and thank you, Peter, man. We'll get some pad sticks for sure.
Beautiful. And I'm looking for. You might have to repeat your question, Christopher. Christopher Simpson. About the drums. If that was your question, yes, we answered that question a while back in the live stream. So you can watch it in the rerun on YouTube. But we definitely addressed the drum question. And
Beach and Babinga, right?
Beach and Babinga. And we both feel that you're in a good place choosing those woods for sure.
Yeah, those are beautiful woods. Beautiful woods.
Yeah. We went down sort of a wood of the drums rabbit hole. Dom was playing his drums. I showed my drum kit. You missed the whole thing. You're on a phone call. Get your priorities straight. All right. So Don just said there's a new pad stick. I play Vader. Awesome. Yeah. It's coming, man. It's coming.
Oh, it's coming. And it just feels so great just to have. And I worked on the finish with it. I wanted a little more stronger finish.
Yeah.
And just to feel this.
I saw the last version of them when I was at your place, and the coating wasn't there yet at that time. So now is it feeling like it's about there?
This is the third time we went back, and he recoated them again. It needs like about several more coats on it, because I want a certain drag on the stick. A stick that has little to no finish, the drag is when you pull the stick through your hand.
Right.
If you don't feel any resistance, there's not enough drag. I like it to feel a little bit of resistance in there.
Yeah.
And then that just kind of stays in my hand. So leave it to Alan Vader. He was able to find it. He did the research. I put him through the real, research of what he did, and he made it happen. And the sticks feel great, and they'll be delivered to my house any day now. Now,
I have to say, we're coming up to kind of the end of our show. But what I want to ask you about is Can-Do Musos. So you have a really incredible involvement in this project, and there's a big event coming up that I want to address, so maybe you could take us through that a little bit.
For sure, Jim. Real quickly, Can Do Musos is an organization, and I ask everyone to go to candomusos, MUSOS.com. It is a site of disabled musicians from all around the world. We now have 335 musicians from 34 countries that are involved. It costs them nothing to be involved. They come on, we give them a page. I have funded this here, and we get donations to keep this thing going. Andrew Hewitt is one of our guys that works the technology part of it, of the website. He's from Sydney, Australia. David Siegel is in Connecticut. He acts as treasury and secretary. Mike Mignona is another one that's involved here. He lives here on Long Island. And Joe Hardy is involved. Joe Hardy is a phenomenal drummer from L.A. who was born with no legs but plays drums fantastically well. And I met these people in the course of my life, and I brought them all together into my studio and said, guys, we've got to do something to connect disabled and or challenged musicians worldwide. The fact that I've met you in my life, something's telling me we got to organize this. They all have this can-do attitude, and the word a muso is a person that is a very serious musician. So I felt that they were candomusos.com. We put it together. We've got all these members a part of it. It is absolutely, if you go to the website, just click on the first video that's on the homepage. It's called Yes, I Can. It's the Paralympics that was done a couple of years ago, and they featured many challenged musicians on there, challenged athletes, and challenged dancers who are all amputees and blind, and every challenge you can possibly imagine. They put this 2.5-minute commercial together for the Paralympics. It is absolutely incredible. And all the musicians on that are Can Do Musos. They contacted me. I gave them all the information, and it was happening in London. They flew them out to London. It was unbelievable. It really was unbelievable. So in this process now, they did this here, we are now putting together a Can Do Musos Festival 2021. It's going to be aired on YouTube on May 10th. And it's 2.5 hours of 60 Can Do musicians from 20 countries. I hosted in the beginning. We had them all come on. They all play for about 2 minutes. They all sent in videos. We edited this thing down, and I'm putting this festival out so we can have a donate button so people can be aware of Can Do Musos and donate money, because with more funds that I can raise, we can do more for these musicians by helping them with equipment they need, by helping them with anything that we could do to get them to travel, to perform, to come to NAMM. I have already flown several of them out to NAMM each year. In January, they come out just to enjoy the NAMM show. And then Joe Lamont, the president, gives us a stage to perform on. So when all the Can Do Musos attend NAMM, I get them all on stage to play for an hour. The people go crazy. And listen, these are people in wheelchairs with cerebral palsy, with amputees, with muscular dystrophy, with autism, with blind amputees. It is intense. So candomusos.com. Everyone go there, check it out. Watch that video that's on the homepage about the Paralympics. Sit back and be prepared to be emotionally moved by what you're about to witness. This festival coming out, again, 2.5 hours. It'll be on May 10th, and we're going to promote this thing and hopefully get people to enjoy it and donate.
And so people can support right from the website to donate?
Yeah, they can go to the website and donate right from the website, Can Do Musos for there, and then it'll tell them to donate. They can go to our website, even on the festival. I'm not sure if we can get an actual button there, but we'll try and have a link on the YouTube page where this video is shown, and then when they click on it, it'll take them to our homepage and they can donate there. But listen, if you can donate $5 or $10, it goes a long way. We have pushed hard.
Yeah.
I've been pushing this for the past 8 years, and I am just, fueling it and funding it and getting it going, because it is just one of the greatest rewards of my life.
Yeah, it's really incredible. And, you I think, introduced me to David Siegel a long time ago, probably at PASIC. And we had lunch with him, I think, together a couple of PASICs ago at McLaughlin's around the corner from the event center. And I got to know Dave pretty well. And what's incredible with Dave is he never let his limitation limit him, and he even has custom-made gloves so that the sticks are held in his hand in a certain way that he's able to play. And I've heard him playing sambas and all this like Latin jazz stuff and playing his butt off, and with what we would see as some kind of a limitation, and there's really no limit to what he can do. So
I came up with the quote for Can Do Musos: "Our disability does not define us. Our passion for music does."
Wow.
Their passion is so deep. David was born with, I can't remember the name of the disease, but his hands were locked in his position.
Yep.
So he's got to put the stick in his hand and have a glove to hold it in his hand. He plays his absolute tail off. I'd like you, Jim, to have him on this show
I would love to have him
Okay.
on.
Get David Siegel. Email me. I'll give you his information. Get him on this show. That would be fantastic.
Yeah. I believe I have his contact info, but if I don't, I'll certainly reach out to you. But I think that's a great suggestion. And yeah, we'll definitely do it. So Dom and I are going to wrap it up. We're probably going to be doing this very soon. Dom and I kind of talked with the idea of getting together once a month and bringing some kind of drumming and motivation and inspiration together, because I think that Dom and I have a great rapport together, and we're always working together on different projects. Right now, it's getting Dom's studio together for some recording stuff. And so we really appreciate everybody coming out and listening to us babble. And my mom is in here. She said, hi, Dom. And
you give her a big kiss, man. Look forward to seeing her for sure. Absolutely.
And Steve is in here. Steve Balgoyen. So I said the name right finally, because he met with me over the weekend. We're working on his drum setup, his
great.
technology. So Steve is in here. And everybody's saying good night and thanks. And we'll definitely see you guys on an upcoming live stream. And definitely check out my calendar. I have some great stuff coming up. Joe Bergamini is going to be the next guest on my show. My good friend Joe B. We go back, way back. We played in some of the same bands together, and we have some great history together. So look for those upcoming live streams. And we'll see you guys real soon. And if you have any more questions, certainly just email me, and Dom and I will definitely get back to you.
Thanks, guys. Thanks so much. Stay well, stay safe, and I hope to see you all real soon. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.
Good night, everybody.